Hello, my name is Rosita Sivalaiwet, and today I'll be guiding you through the fundamentals of web development. I will cover Topic 1, HTTP and HTML, and Topic 3, layout for different devices. My goal with this presentation is to break down the complexities of web development using simple and relatable examples. I want to take concepts that might seem difficult at first and make them easier to understand by using analogies and connecting them with everyday experiences. So let's get started. First, in today's presentation, we'll cover 6 topics. But before we dive into the websites, it's important to understand the backbone behind them. So, what is the Internet? By definition, the Internet is a global network connecting millions of devices, enabling the exchange of data and communication. Without the Internet, websites, email, or even online services wouldn't exist. So, now that we understand the basic of the Internet, let's explore how the web has evolved over the time. A brief history of the web. In the 1960s, the Internet began as the military project called ARPANET, and by 1990, Tim Berners-Lee developed the World Wide Web. And by 1991, HTTP 0.9 was introduced, allowing basic data sharing. In 1995, HTTPS was born to secure transaction as online shopping grew. And in today, with HTTP/3, we have faster, encrypted, and multiplex connections that support our daily online activities. So, how websites communicate? Well, websites operate using a client-server model. The client is your device, sends a request when you type a URL, and the server responds by delivering the requested data. But to better visualize this, let's break it down with a simple analogy. This is a simple analogy that I create. It's called the letter and friend's house analogy. So, imagine your house is the client, and your friend's house is the server. And the HTTP is the mailman that connects you two. So, let's say you want to send a letter to a friend, and you write the letter and hand it over to the mailman to deliver it to your friend's house. And in technical terms, this is like you're searching for a website. After you press enter on a URL, you, the client, are essentially sending a request through HTTP to ask the server for important files like HTML and CSS to load the web page you're visiting. And then, your friends get your letter. If the server finds the file you requested, it sends back a letter. This is called HTTP response. So think of it as your friends replying to your letter. The response contains the material needed to display to the page, such as HTML for structure and, as I told you, CSS for design. If everything goes smoothly. So your friends send back. Ta-da! Your website loads perfectly. This is like receiving a successful response, and the status code of HTTP will appear 200 OK. But sometimes things don't go as planned. If the mailman can't find your friend's home address, the letters get returned to you. And this is equivalent of a 404 not found error in the web world, meaning that the page file no longer exists or was moved. Now, imagine this. While the mailman is on the way to send your friend's letter to you, a thief intercepts the letter. In the web world, this thief is known as a man-in-the-middle attack. Because with HTTP, the letter is in plain text. If the letter contains sensitive details like your password or your credit card number, the thief can read everything. This highlights the security vulnerabilities of HTTP. So, this is where HTTPS comes. The S stands for Secure, Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. It encrypts the communication, ensuring that sensitive information remains hidden, even if intercepted. As you can see from the picture, picture from Hostika, that the user, when use HTTPS is encrypted the connection. So, to explain why HTTPS is necessary, let me introduce you to Wireshark, a tool that shows how data travels. So, I will do the experiment to show you that how HTTP transmits sensitive data without encryption. Here's what happened during the HTTP login. When I log into a test website, I use the username called admin and password also called admin. So, Wireshark, you can see HTTP, Wireshark captures the request. So, you will also see the path that the info you can see the post/login.php, and for the HTML from URL encoded, you can see that the username and password clearly visible. So this is extremely dangerous for the sensitive information. Now, with HTTPS, I use the same username and password, admin. But the data, you can see that it's encrypted. When comparing to the HTTP in Wireshark earlier, you can clearly see where the data is sent and even identify that it is a post process. However, with HTTPS, the content of the data is hidden, and you won't be able to see anything. Now that we have covered how websites communicate, let's shift our focus to what makes up a website. Thinking of building a website like assembling a car. HTML first is the frame and the structure. CSS is the design and paint that make it look appealing. And JavaScript, the engine that brings the car to life, adding the interactivity, as you can see from the picture. But right now, we're not going to focus much on JavaScript. So each plays a crucial role in creating a functional, beautiful, and interactive website. But not only that, I have to add on the responsive designs. It's compare like the car that has the ability to adjust in a different road. The same as website. The good website should look good in every platform, like phone, tablets, or desktop. So this is the example of HTML, also called as hypertext markup language. On the right side is the code, and on the left is how it looks in live in browser. HTML use tags like these angle brackets. Tags tell the browser what each part of content is. For example, like H1 means this is a big heading, and P is for paragraph. You notice that most tags have an opening tag like H1, and the closing tag that has slash means that this part ends here. So that we know what is HTML and what is the tags. Why semantic HTML is important. Comparing, like, imagine like driving a car and it has no dashboard icon, so you wouldn't know how fast you are going, or are you on speed if you're low on fuel. So similarly to semantic HTML, it's provided clear labels for different parts of the website like header, navigation, and footer. And this can also improve the accessibility and overall organization. And next one is CSS or cascading style sheets. It's to control how your website looks and feels to ensure users have a pleasant experience. You can see the comparison from HTML and CSS, and you can see from the code in the right side the body and font family. You can see that the font is different from the HTML. So next part, why? As you know about responsive design, but why does it matter? So it matters because not all roads are the same when you drive a car. Some are wide highways, some others are narrow alleys. So responsive design ensures that your website adapts to different screen sizes, no matter what you view on phone, tablet, and desktop. And from what I have researched, with over 60% of traffic from mobile, ensuring compatibility is crucial, because right now a lot of people use cell phone. So if you can adapt yourself when do the website to be suited for cell phone, is very important. And for the CSS techniques and responsive design, so how do we create a responsive design? I summarize in two essential tools in CSS. First is grid layouts. It's allow the content to be organized into rows and columns. And media queries. It's apply different styles and depending on screen size. And in these techniques can allow the website to reshape themselves dynamically. But right now, we already covered the theory. So I wanted to apply this concept to build my own portfolio site to make it more clear. So let me show you a quick live demo of my final result. And this is my code from my project. This is index.html file. It contains the structure of my project, and this is my CSS file that I add on. But I have to mention that I also use the Bootstrap for CSS, and I also use the Bootstrap for JavaScript in order to make the my portfolio more lively and have the design more professional. So this is my code. I need to mention that in this part of my CSS, I follow the responsive design in media queries. So I use the screen in 480px. And in the hero section, I use the font size reduce. I reduce the font size to improve readability on mobile. And my button stretch in here, I stretch it to 100% width for easier interaction on small screens. And the grid container, the grid layout shift to one column, ensuring the proper content alignment. And in this part, section title, I decide to keep the headlines readable without overwhelming space. And lastly, I will show you that my project in my developer tools, that it's fits in many dimensions. Yes, you can see now it's iPhone 14 Pro Max. You can see that, okay, I can scroll now, change to iPhone XR, and you can see that the website still look good, and it fits in many platforms. And we change to responsive. Yeah, you can see that the grids and everything still look good in many platforms. Yeah, so this is my presentation. Thank you for your attention.